Brett Allen here with the Brett Allen Show. Thanks for watching and listening. We have a very special guest today. I am super excited about this conversation. We're chatting with actor Clayne Crawford about the integrity of Joseph Chambers, a brand new project, as you can see behind us, and of course, a myriad of other fantastic things. Clayne, thanks for your time. It's great to chat with you today.
Good to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, I've been a fan of your work for a very long time. A lot of things you've done, and this film definitely ranks up there with some of the best of the best. I'm very curious. This is a different type of story, I think, than what we've maybe seen from you or just in the genre as well. I'm curious as to where this began and how this came about for you, because it's a very important message, but also very well told. I think it's really good.
Oh, thank you for saying all of that. Um, when I was 40, I was at a bit of a crossroads with my career, and if it was something I was going to continue doing. I kind of reached a point where I wasn't sure what my trajectory was going to be, and I kind of just decided the best way to figure that out was just kind of go make a movie the way that I wanted to make a film.
Sure.
I've always had opinions on the way I thought things should be done, as not only with my character, but just like the overall piece. And, those voices from an actor, for the most part, kind of fall on deaf ears, right? So I went and made The Killing of Two Lovers. And that was a very important film for me because I've always wanted to play a very vulnerable character. A lot of times my guy, it can kind of be the heavy or kind of have everything figured out or just nasty, rotten. And I'm not typically given those kind of opportunities. And as a father as well, playing a dad. So we went and kind of made that film, and it just really gave me the confidence that we can do this and that technology's in a place where it's not extremely expensive to make a film anymore.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, right? You don't need these sophisticated pieces of equipment that take, 6 or 7 men and women to operate. And then you don't have to find some guy who knows how to cut and splice film. You can do it on your laptop, right? So it's made it incredibly easier for young filmmakers to go out and kind of do their own thing. So Robert and I, after making that film, it launched 2020 is when it was at Sundance that year, and then we all kind of fell into COVID. And Robert and I had been developing this story specifically as a limited series for HBO.
Okay.
We're working with Melissa Bernstein over there, and again, when COVID hit, everything kind of shut down, and I dusted off this piece of material because, like everyone, I was just getting bored. I was loving the fact that I was on my farm and riding dirt bikes with the kids, but I wanted to go be creative, and I also wanted to include my whole family, if that makes sense. We all kind
Sure.
of wanted. I wanted. It's amazing to love something, but then when you get to share that love with the people you love, it really becomes special. So um, I grabbed the script that was essentially the first episode of this limited series, and reading it, I was talking to Robert, and I was like, I think this can be a film, you know, albeit small and at times thin. I still thought there was an opportunity here, and definitely something we could execute during COVID with such limited resources and people and so forth. So, I think that, along with the idea of, I'm super curious about a guy who was born and raised in an urban environment, a small city, moving to a small town in rural America and being faced with what defines a man. And that definition being quite different from what he grew up with and what he's seeing in this community. And him kind of questioning himself and curious of how he would respond in a traumatic situation that altered the world as he knew it, and could he provide, and could he be a man, right? And that, along with I thought it was interesting to explore watching a film and thinking, uh-oh, something's about to happen to this idiot, right? There's either a
That's a good way
monster
to put it. Yeah.
there's a monster in the woods, or something's about to get this poor guy. And then as the film unfolds, you realize that he's the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very deep and very, I can't think of the word, but it's just, it's really good. It's escaping me right now, but existential, I think maybe would be the word I would describe.
Mm.
And it's just, it's so different. Well, that's cool. You mentioned something interesting about, when you were in that period of your life where you really weren't sure what you were going to do or what might happen as an actor. I don't know, your world is so different, so it's hard to empathize in that sense, but go, man, I really love this person, I love this career, I love this life, but I'm just stuck. So when you are working on something, you also mentioned the fact that it's so easy now to create your own content and put something out there. When you have those moments, is it lethargic in a way to go, or cathartic in a way to go, man, I'm so happy to have these creative juices flowing again, and really do something for the love of it versus maybe something else?
It's a really good question. And, the short answer is yes, right? But I think what had happened is Hollywood's very competitive.
Yes.
Um, and in Los Angeles, when you're living in that community, you're inundated with all of the things that are coming soon, things you're not in, right? In
Yeah,
those
it's
billboards,
always in, something's always in pre-production. Like,
and something's always in your face. There's a new billboard up every other day.
yeah,
And you get to where you just want to, and I'm very competitive by nature. So I think I'd gotten to where I just wanted to win. And I lost sight of what it was I wanted.
okay.
And I think when I got to what I considered the top in some respects, especially in the television world, I
Yes,
realized it wasn't necessarily what I thought it was going to be.
sure.
And not everyone there was interested in making quality. It was more, we were in the business of quantity.
Right.
Um, and that was super challenging. So,
Sure.
yeah, I think that's why I took the step back. And as a result of making doing these projects the way that we have, and only leading with our hearts and love and trying to just make what I feel like is the best movie. And would I do things different in all of them? Of course,
Sure.
but am I able to show these films with zero disclaimers? 100%. And as a result, it has again reignited that fire inside of me to go be creative. Where there for a minute I thought maybe I'm just going to be a farmer,
Yeah,
maybe I'm
I
going to
mean,
raise
that's what a lot
cattle.
of people thought. We're like, dang, it's like, not to relive the past, but we've alluded to it, where you're on top and you have one of the best shows on television, and it's, or and you're surrounded, as you mentioned, with things that are always in your face. It's always heartwarming to hear actors and creatives go, man, I found where my passion is at. Because I imagine that's probably where things started for you, was you had something ignited inside of you, which makes me ask, where did that journey begin for you, Clayne, as a storyteller and as an actor? And when you knew, hey, this world is for me, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life.
I think sometimes the universe or God, whatever it is you believe in, I think sometimes some of us believe that there's a path that's kind of already there.
Sure.
And it's kind of like you choose your own adventure. You can take certain branches of that path. Um, I just wanted to get out of my small town, which I live in now. It's funny how you come back to the
Yeah.
things you
It's
run
like all of
from
a
as a
sudden
teen.
you're back again after leaving. I love
I
it.
couldn't wait to come back.
Yeah,
And yet
sure.
when I was 18, I just wanted to get so far away from here that I literally got in my truck and I drove until I hit the ocean, and that was Los Angeles. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna work construction here and I'm gonna figure this out. And I thought about acting. I'd been bitten by the bug when I was in debate class. She had us do improv. which I'd never heard. But she's like, you're gonna have to believe in certain topics that maybe morally you do not, but you got to get up and defend these topics. And so she kind of taught us some improv, saying a lot of this is going to be acting, and I was very hesitant, as an athlete, and thought I was a tough guy, to get up and do this scene, which that's why she made me get my ass up there.
I love
And
it.
and the best is me and Brent Key, who's now the head coach of Georgia Tech football team. She makes us, who are in the back of the room, get up to the front of the room, and you guys are going to do this scene together. And something went off, something definitely clicked. And then when I got to LA, I chasing a girl, I went and did this play and had a very small part in this play. But when I walked out on stage, and granted, it was only full of parents, there was no one driving out to Sun Valley in outside of Los Angeles to
I love
watch,
it.
to
I
watch
love
this
it.
play, where the director was drunk every night on natural light. But something still, it clicked, and I, for the first time in my life, had a direction,
Wow.
and I was motivated. When before I was just kind of aimlessly wandering, like most teenagers. I just knew I didn't want to sit behind a desk. I knew I didn't want to work for someone. I wanted to create something. I just wasn't sure what it was. So that was the genesis. And then, I found an agent in the Valley by the name of Ruth Beverin, who was 83 years old when I signed with her, and chain smoking. And she got me my first job on Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a co-star, and
Wow.
um, I'd never and understand, I had no idea what I was doing, no acting classes whatsoever. Genuinely, just I've lived my career just trying to be honest in the moment, and in a lot of ways, until Lethal, I didn't even know what I was doing. I learned so much on Rectify, so much working with Ray McKinnon and Abigail Spencer and Aiden Young, Luke Kirby, Adelaide Clemens. It was just such a learning experience for me. And then Lethal was the first offer I'd ever had. So
Really?
it was
That was like your big thing.
look, I mean, I went through 6 audition processes for Rectify, and just going back and back and back trying to get this job. And that's how I'd won every job, was through kind of fighting for it. And then Lethal comes, and I'm thinking, oh crap, it's the first job I get offered, and now I got to go step into these shoes, you know. So I turned it down a couple of times, and but when I finally got, because I was just scared, I didn't want to disrespect Mel or Don or the franchise, Shane Black, all those guys who created this incredible series. But when I got in there, man, it was the first time I had real confidence. So,
Wow.
and it allowed me to really grow as an actor, kind of how Rectify was. So to be honest, and it sounds so silly, really the Killing of Two Lovers felt like my graduation, and me kind of going into it as a real professional with a clear understanding of what I was doing and how to execute. So again, I know it sounds weird, but I feel like I'm kind of just now starting my career, and the first 20 years was all education.
I get it. And I've heard that a lot from different actors, creatives. It's like you have these capstones in your life where they seem huge, but really, like, at the end of the day, it really all is a stepping stone to a career that has longevity, which yours has had, right? I mean, you've continued to work, and I'm thankful for that, just personally, because I said I've enjoyed going all the way back to Buffy, to this, Lethal, and of course the integrity of Joseph Chambers. I can't wait for people to watch this if they haven't yet. Congratulations on all your success. It's been a true pleasure, and I really appreciate your honesty and your graciousness in chatting with me today. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
Brett, thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.